Good morning, folks. Sanderson Trail Report. Today is Friday the 13th of March 2020, and change of scenery. I'm here at Saddle Junction. Just over my shoulder behind me there is the PCT southbound, and my tracks there in the PCT northbound, going up what we call Angel's Glide. Behind me there is, somewhere in there is Devil's Slide. So Saddle Junction for PCTers is about roughly 179.5 at the top of Devil's Slide Trail, which is the best known access point to and from Idlewild. As you can see, we have about 5.5 inches or so of fresh powder. I was up here yesterday and it was almost completely clear and of snow and pouring with rain on me, all the way up to 9,000 feet up that trail behind me there. And then it turned cold enough later in the afternoon yesterday to turn to snow. It snowed briefly on me as I hiked up with Annabelle, and actually right now it's kind of drizzling on us. I guess we're sort of in the cloud, kind of misty drizzle. There is forecast for more rain today, lower down, potentially snow here. Right now it's very bright up above me. The high parts of the mountain, the high country, probably above 9,500 feet, is actually above the cloud right now. So they may not get any more additional snow in the high country today. Go check on that in the next day or two. Main purpose of this video was partly to show people what the PCT currently looks like here at 8,100 feet. Also to give an idea of the PCT currently being snow covered between, that'll be about mile somewhere in the 150s, maybe 158, 159. All the way through to about low 190s, 194, maybe 195. So pretty extensive, nearly 40-mile section that's currently under snow. Not super deep. The high point of the PCT at Annie's Junction, just under 2 miles up there, is at just under 9,100 feet. That probably currently has maybe about a foot of fresh snow. But for PCTers coming through over the next couple of weeks, in particular, the issue is, now it's kind of sort of half snowing, half drizzling on me. The issue is, depending on your comfort level on dealing with snow and ice, whether you want to deal with these conditions. So have a plan in place for getting off the trail. So as you come northbound, options on the section we call the Desert Divide, which is between about 151 and 172. Obviously you can get off at Highway 74 right there at 151. Then as you come north, there's the Cedar Springs Trail, the Phobes Arch Road, the Phobes Trail, and then your last chance is, which is at about 168.5, is the Spitler Peak Trail. That might be the best option for most folks, because just north of there we have the northeast side of Apache Peak at about 169.5. That had some pretty challenging snow and ice conditions last year. I haven't been up there for a couple of weeks right now since these last couple of storms. That might get pretty challenging in the next week or two. And then beyond that at 172.5 is the rock slide. I've not been through it in snow conditions like this, so that could be a challenge too. So 168.5, the Spitler Peak Trail, if you're not interested in playing with these sorts of snow and ice conditions for a while. And then best option for getting back on is from Idlewild is then to go up the Black Mountain Road, which would bring you back out at about 191, 191.5 at the Fuller Ridge campground. That's the north end of Fuller Ridge, so you skirt Fuller Ridge that way. Looking at the way it's snowing right now, this is pretty fine. It'll take a long time to accumulate, but we could end up with more during the course of today. So just give those options some thought. Right now, I mean, actually getting through is pretty straightforward. The powder's really nice. I just came up in a cheap pair of Keen boots. Didn't use spikes. I mean, the powder's pretty grippy. But again, you've got to be comfortable going through this kind of snow and ice. Couple of other bigger picture issues, not particularly specific to the PCT. The Palm Springs aerial tramway announced yesterday it's closed for the foreseeable future. That is at least until the end of March currently, but in the current circumstances, it could be significantly longer. We'll see. The main impact of that from a hiking perspective is that above Wellman Divide, there will be obviously very little hiker traffic going up to San Jacinto Peak. So the trail will rely on myself and a few other folks to be going up there with regularity. In that regard, PCT hikers I'd probably recommend they consider skipping San Jacinto Peak right now, because there are going to be very few tracks up there. There may be no tracks up there after storms and after wind, because there're just simply going to be extremely few people going up there. This is like last year, after the tram again was shut for 45 days from mid-February to the end of March because of the rainstorm we had on Valentine's Day, and most of the time there were no tracks up there. You basically got a break trail every time you go up. So I would recommend PCTers who are trying to go on through that they probably focus on going on through on the trail and skip Sanjak Peak, unfortunately, for the time being. And then the other big issue is the weather next week. Currently major storm forecast, actually a string of about, it's hard to tell, 2, 3, 4 storms between about the 16th and at least the 22nd of March. Estimates, forecasts I'm looking at are varying really wildly. Some talk about have been as much as 3 feet of snow up at above 10,000 feet. Some are talking a lot less than that, maybe only a foot. But clearly it's going to have major impact on the upper sections of the PCT, probably particularly Fuller Ridge area, on top of obviously what we have right now and whatever little bit else we get today. So PCT is coming northbound over the next couple of weeks. Just a heads up, it's going to be a real challenge, and keep a really close eye on the forecast, keep a close eye on the San Jacinto Trail report, and have your plans in place for the various options for bailing out off the trail. Sorry, that's all a bit long-winded, but as always, it's a beautiful day up here in the San Jacinto Mountains, and safe hiking, safe snowshoeing, everybody.